Before the world knew his name, Jake E. Lee was just a quiet kid in San Diego with a strange gift. His fingers moved fast, almost too fast for his small practice amp. His tone was raw, sharp, and emotional. Friends said he didn't play the guitar. He poured into it. He joined a young band called Teaser, a group of hungry kids who believed they could change the local scene. They had no money, no management, and no real plan. But they had fire. And when Jake plugged in, that fire became something bigger. Crowds grew. People whispered, this band could be huge. But no one knew that behind the excitement, trouble was already forming. Teaser wasn't just a band. It became a brotherhood. Jake, the musical engine, his bandmates, the dreamers. They rehearsed in garages that smelled of gasoline and old carpets. They shared cheap food, borrowed amps, and one single belief, that they were meant for something great. Their chemistry was electric. Jake's riffs gave the band identity, while the others added soul and personality. They started writing original songs, and suddenly, clubs were calling them. But their success attracted attention, good and bad. Small-time promoters promised fame, but none delivered. Money didn't come in. Arguments began. Still, the band pushed forward, unaware that their biggest challenges were yet to come. Teaser's music wasn't typical. Jake blended blues emotion with a new kind of metal flash. His riffs were crisp, colorful, full of attitude. People said the band had a radio-ready sound before they ever touched a studio. Fans showed up wearing homemade shirts. Local DJs played their demos between major acts. It felt like destiny. The band truly believed they were one break away from a record deal. But behind the scenes, decisions were being made by people who didn't understand the business. The band trusted the wrong managers, signed weak deals, and wasted precious time. Their momentum was slipping, even as their music kept getting better. Every rising band makes mistakes, but Teaser's early one became fatal. Their manager pushed them into a long-term contract with a shady promoter. The promoter demanded exclusive rights to book their shows, but barely booked anything. Months passed. No gigs, no money, no exposure. Jake grew frustrated. He wasn't angry for himself. He was angry for the band. They deserved more. But they didn't know how to fight the contract. As arguments grew, unity faded. The brotherhood began cracking. And just when they thought things couldn't get worse, tragedy struck the group in a way they never expected. One night, Teaser received news no band is ever ready for. A close friend of the group had died in a car accident. He wasn't just a friend, he was practically the sixth member. He handled gear, drove the van, and believed in them more than anyone else. His death hit the entire band like a hammer. Jake stopped writing for weeks. Rehearsals were quiet and heavy. It wasn't just grief, it was guilt. They felt like they were wasting their opportunity, while the one person who believed in them the most was gone. The tragedy froze the band at the worst possible moment. Eventually, they forced themselves back into the rehearsal room. The music sounded darker, deeper. Jake's guitar tone changed. More emotion, more pain. Their new songs were some of the best they ever wrote. But emotionally, the band was drained. They needed a stable manager, real guidance, and someone who understood their potential. Instead, they made their second major mistake. They trusted another inexperienced manager who made big promises and delivered nothing. Labels grew tired of waiting. The band's buzz faded. They were becoming yesterday's news before they even got their chance. Jake E. Lee had the talent to become a superstar. Everyone knew that. But inside Teaser, he felt stuck. The wrong business decisions kept piling up. The band wasn't recording, they weren't touring, they weren't building momentum. He tried to push them harder, but every time they took a step forward, another poor choice dragged them backward. Friends told Jake he was wasting his gifts. He didn't believe them at first. Teaser meant everything to him. But eventually, even he began to wonder, maybe this band will never make it. And the music world was waiting. One night, word reached Jake. A major metal frontman needed a new guitarist. It wasn't just a job, it was a career explosion. This was the road that could make his name echo around the world. But taking the opportunity meant leaving Teaser behind, the band that had been his family, the band that believed in him first. Jake faced the hardest decision of his young life: stay loyal and risk sinking with the ship, or leave and save his future. The pressure was unbearable. His heart was with Teaser. His destiny was elsewhere. When Jake finally left, Teaser didn't collapse instantly, but the spark disappeared. Without their lead guitarist, their identity faded. They tried replacing him, tried reinventing themselves, tried reigniting the fire, but the magic was gone. Fans lost interest. Promoters stopped calling. Their dreams slowly dissolved. Some members took day jobs. Others quit music entirely. Teaser wasn't defeated by lack of talent. They were destroyed by bad choices, bad timing, and heartbreak. Jake E. Lee went on to join Ozzy Osbourne, becoming one of the most iconic guitarists of the '80s. His riffs shaped a generation. The world celebrated him. Meanwhile, Teaser watched from the sidelines, proud but haunted. They told friends, "We used to play with that guy." But deep down they wondered, what if we had made better choices? What if we protected the band? What if we believed in ourselves sooner? The regret was silent but heavy. Today, Teaser is a name many don't know, but they live on as the band with incredible potential that never had a fair shot. Jake remembers them with love, respect, and sadness. They were talented, passionate, and determined. But tragedy hit them early, and business mistakes crushed their momentum. In another timeline, Teaser could have become a major '80s rock name. But sometimes, great bands don't fail because of the music. They fail because life gets in the way. And that is the true story of Jake E. Lee's first band. A story of fire, loss, loyalty, and dreams that almost came true.